But let's start the new year with an old case. Giuffre Epstein. This is a case that I don't think will ever go away. It'll never go away in the conversation that takes place day in and day out on social media. And the question is, just how far do you think this conspiracy goes? Who was involved in this sex trafficking operation? Well, according to our system of justice and prosecutors, it looks like two people. Just two people are involved, right? You've got Giuffre Epstein involved. There's one of his accusers, Virginia Giuffre. But beyond him and Ghislaine Maxwell, where does it really go? Where does it really go? What are we going to find out? Well, tonight, as we speak, a document that was previously sealed. And when a court seals a document, the purpose is no one is supposed to see it. When they mean no one, they mean no one in the public, whether it's members of the media or you or anyone else, is supposed to see that document. And there's always different reasons to seal documents. Sometimes it's an ongoing investigation. Sometimes there's information in it that they don't want to be made public. There's some overriding reason. But generally speaking, our court systems are open, right? It's open. So when a case ends, the information should be available. Well, tonight we've got new information that has just been revealed. And this is a settlement agreement between, we can put the pictures back up, Giuffre Epstein and Virginia Giuffre. Okay? It's an agreement between these two. There was a lawsuit where Virginia Giuffre, one of his accusers, accused Giuffre Epstein in civil court. All right? So civil court, it's a lawsuit. You're suing someone. You're trying to get damages for the harm that the person you're suing is responsible for. So there was a settlement for $500,000. Basically, she accused him of sex abuse, being trafficked, everything that we've been hearing for all this time. And there's a settlement agreement, right? So now we're actually seeing this settlement agreement. And I want to show a couple parts to you because it's pretty significant here. First part is the parties agreed to immediately dismiss the pending lawsuit, presently styled Jane Doe number 102 versus Giuffre Epstein, with prejudice upon payment and clearance of the settlement amount. Okay, pretty standard stuff. This next paragraph is the stuff that's not standard. And this is the part that's a lot of people talking and wondering who else is involved. Hereby remise, release, acquit, satisfy, and forever discharge the said second parties and any other person or entity who could have been included as a potential defendant, other potential defendants, from all manner of action and actions of Virginia Roberts. So, you know, on the one hand, all right, you can't sue any of his companies, but it's any other person who could have been included as a potential. Well, who are these people? I mean, that's the question that is at the heart of this story and continues to be at the heart of this story. We're all waiting for all these big names to drop. Well, the one big name that has been part of the story is Prince Andrew. And Virginia Giuffre spoke about Prince Andrew in the past. Take a listen to what she has to say here.
What do you make of Prince Andrew's denials? Can you comment on that? You said you won't be silenced. He has been outspoken.
He knows what he's done, and he can attest to that. So.
Can you repeat that? We can't hear you. Step up.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it.
He knows what he's done. I mean, that's an accusation. It's not specific, but it's an accusation in light of the context of all this. Now, here's the question. With this newly released document, is that really a shield for Prince Andrew that he can use to keep himself from ever getting sued? And the thing about getting sued is you get deposed and you have to answer questions under oath by the party that's suing you. So Virginia Giuffre, one of the accusers who's been out in front in all of this, is she prohibited from going after him as a result of this settlement and this language? And will he use it as a shield? And if he does, is it an admission that he's done something wrong? How exactly does all this work? How unusual is it, or is this pretty standard stuff? Let's bring in our think tank tonight and talk about what this means, what it could mean. Joining us tonight in Tampa, Florida, criminal defense attorney Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, criminal defense attorney, civil rights attorney Casey Early. And in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Michael Bixson. Great to see everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming back on the show this year. So this settlement agreement seems to protect, and it's sort of similar to the criminal case that took place years ago down in Florida, where they agreed not to go after anyone, and they sort of dropped it, and Epstein got the deal of the century, however it was worked out. But what exactly does this mean, and will this be something that blocks us from ever really learning all of those other names, which is what everyone wants to know? Who are all these other people? Teresa, what are your thoughts about let's start first with the settlement agreement coming out and the way that Epstein was seemingly protecting other people in his own settlement agreement?
I think that I don't think Epstein had the ability to go ahead and protect other people. And it's my understanding at the time of the settlement agreement, Prince Andrew wasn't even part of the criminal charges. So I definitely don't think that Prince Andrew would be able to use the settlement agreement on his behalf at all. I mean, just a blanket statement of any person, I don't think it's sufficient enough. I'm still surprised that, that the settlement agreement was released. And it's my understanding that it was released because the government essentially said that they were trying to, I guess, counter what Prince Andrew had been saying all along. But I still think that, a settlement agreement in civil court, when it's kept under seal, that it should remain under seal.
Casey, it looks like Teresa wants the conspiracy to continue. But here, are we ever going to get to the bottom line of this, which everyone wants to know? Are there other names, or is all this just going to kind of end now?
No, there's no way that this is going to end. This is just one chapter, and I suspect that this is a big book of names that we will be surprised. I mean, I was surprised to hear that a prince was involved in this scandal. So I do believe that this settlement agreement is vague. I do agree with my colleague that it will not prohibit other charges from coming forth, whether it's in civil court or criminal charges. It wasn't specific. It didn't state a John Doe or Jane Doe in this matter. And I do believe that there will be some more names and some more lawsuits and criminal charges coming about after this, the charges of Miss Maxwell.
All right, Michael Bixson. So far in this whole conspiracy, obviously we have Jeffrey Epstein and we have Ghislaine Maxwell. Let me remind everyone about the verdict that happened just before all the holidays. United States versus Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, guilty. Enticement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, not guilty on count 2. But then count 3, conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, sex trafficking conspiracy, sex trafficking of a minor, guilty, 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 guilty. So, Michael, before she's sentenced, is she going to use the only card that she has left, which is perhaps to implicate other people and help the feds bring charges against some other people, maybe some very high-profile people?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I think there's two big questions here. One, whether or not she knows of anyone else who she should be including in there in terms of a.
Well, she knows
names.
everything, Michael. She was there.
Well,
wait, let me show you some pictures. Do you have the pictures? Let me show you how close they were,
again,
Jeffrey.
Look,
wait,
I've
let
seen
me
the
show you the
pictures.
picture, Michael.
All right.
Let me show you the picture. If we have those pictures, all right, this is how close they are, Michael, okay?
I get it. She's given a look, they're very close. I get it. There's no doubt about it. But how involved she was with this, how much she really knew about it, that we don't know, right? I mean, and it's true. Like, we can make conjecture about it all day, but at the end of the day, we don't know for sure. Now, look, I think there's a very good chance that she has a good idea as to who might have been or who might not have been, right? But whether or not she's still going to flip, because, if there are other people involved, and I think, yeah, they're probably very high profile people. And whether or not she's going to want to disclose that, even if it might save her, from her criminal case, or at least alleviate a potential sentence, that I think is going to sort of be up in the air. And I'm inclined to say if she went this far without disclosing any of it, I think there's a good chance that she still might not.
Teresa, what do you think? Sex trafficking of a minor, sex trafficking conspiracy, transportation of minors. She's facing a lot of time here.
She is facing a lot of time, and rightfully so, for those types of charges. But I also agree that, I think the time to make deals was before she went to trial. So if there were names that she knew about or people that she was able to implicate, that should have been done obviously before the trial to try to get some leverage. I think now trying to come in afterwards, it's kind of a little bit, I don't know, are you just trying to save yourself? I think the feds will still look into it, of course, but I think, from what I've seen in the federal cases that I try, most of these things are done before we even get to trial.
Yeah, Casey, do you think she understands that she's going to prison for a long, long time and is just going to continue to say, I'm innocent? Or do you, and hold on for the hopes of an appeal, or maybe use the only thing that she has that could somehow reduce some time?
She better use her wild card. I somewhat agree that she should have, if she had any names, cooperated with the prosecution in this case. However, she still has time now that she's been convicted. Possibly this could be a mitigating factor if she decides to work with the feds and give up some names. Maybe it will reduce her sentence. She's looking at a lot of time. She just turned 60, and even at the very least 40 years or 30 years, that's her entire life. So at this point, it's best that she saves herself and give up those names if she has them.
All right. And if she ever does give up the names, you'll hear about it right here, of course. We'll report on it. And we'll continue to cover the story and her sentencing, which is coming up in federal court.